Right guys, we're on another lesson. We're using the samurai arms, armor and the tactics of warfare. We are on page 206. And you see this little thing here? And this little thing there with the little nodules on it? I'm going to show you what that means. So, when you approach a castle and you are trying to get in there, you're just going to get shot with arrows. So you use bamboo shields like we did in the last video, but you also use trenches. So what you do is you find these, you dig out trenches, and you get closer and closer and you keep digging and you do it in a zigzag formation, and these are sandbags. Now the reason you do it in a zigzag formation is to stop the arrows just coming right down. If you do it on a single trench, so think of the Death Star in Star Wars, if that trench had been zigzagged, they couldn't have done it. So Luke couldn't have got in there. So what you do is you zigzag your trenches when they are directly on to the enemy, and you put sandbags at the corners so they can't drop them in when you're like walking down. They can't sort of drop it in on top of you. You know, the bag, you build up a height big enough that it can cover you till you get to the next one, which is ingenious. And the people who do this are not only miners and tunnelers, but the shinobi no mono. This is part of shinobi no jutsu in Natoryu, is mining and tunneling. Right guys, today we are going to be working again, of course, from Samurai Arms, Armour and the Tactics of Warfare. And we're going to be talking about how samurai doctors would make sure patients don't take off their stuff. So we're going to look at Hondo Geka, which are basically surgeons and physicians. And we're working from the Natori blank workbook. And I'll show you this. Basically, you get a person, they've got their obi belt on, and what you do is you mark it, presumably onto the skin or where it overlaps. And the point of doing this is that actually when the doctor or the surgeon goes away, they're not easing it and opening it and saying, here, just open this for me. Because you've tightened it for them. They've probably got wounds. They've got problems. You tighten it up, keep them there. And then you put like a chalk mark down it, like, don't take that off. Don't do it. So that's why we use that in our school. It's sort of like, check the patient is not messing with your bandages or your stuff or changing things over. You put a mark on it to make sure they don't change or alter anything. Today we're going to talk about chi and smoke and chi and battle and astrology. So basically we're working from the Book of Samurai, Samurai Arms, Arms, Armour and the Tactics of Warfare, and we're on page 210. Come on, get it right, Cummins. 210. I'm going to be using the Natoryu blank workbook. You can get a copy of this on Amazon, and it's there for Natoryu students. But we're going to be looking at something that's a crossover between Gumbaisha and the surgeons, which is what we did last time, which is Hondo Gekan. So it's a crossover between the two, but I've put it under Gumbai mainly here. So it's on Book of Samurai 2, page 210. Now there are three things here. There is Tenri, astrology. There is Gunki, which is chi in battle. And there is Enki, which is chi in smoke. So what we're looking for here is, when you're an esoteric tactician, part of samurai culture is to look up at the stars and know that's the star of defeat, that's the star of death, that's Polaris, that's the star, the main star. The sun is the great star, and the sun ritual in the morning. So you have to perform a sun ritual in the morning. You have to understand the rituals of Polaris, possibly Sirius, different stars like that. The problem with Hagun and where to go with the star of defeat. Then you get Gunki, which is chi in battle. So imagine you've got a battle going, and the Gumbaisha, or the surgeons as well, because they're part of the esoteric collective, they actually are looking for the chi that's going on in the battle. As people are moving across the landscape, they're looking at the different things. And finally, Enki, which is chi inside of smoke. So you're looking at anything that's burning, any smoke, and you're looking for omens and potents as the smoke is moving and changing. That's what you're looking for. So that's how a samurai, or what a samurai will look for in chi and astrology and things like that. So have a look at the book, get yourself a copy. I've also ordered some new highlighters, guys, so we can get some more colours going on in here. So get yourself a copy of the book and keep up to date, and also get yourself a Natoryu workbook if you fancy it. Right guys, welcome back to this. We're going through today death tags for heads which go here. Here on the left here. So we're working from the Book of Samurai, Samurai Arms, Armor, and the Tactics of Warfare, Natori Ryu, and I'm working with the Natori Ryu blank workbook. Both are available on Amazon, and as you can see, I've got my new markers. So, well, I say highlighters because markers go through. So I bought a load of multicolored highlighters because they don't go through a page. Genius. So this is called Hakushi no Koto, which is basically when you kill an enemy, you have to tag it, and you put a tag in its here. Now, this is a piece of paper that is 12 centimeters long, and you tie it up with a piece of string sort of job here. Now, I've got different examples to show you. Now, here, this is called, so in Japanese writing, there's block style, there's cursive writing, there's actually half cursive as well, but block style, which is name, and cursive, name. Yep. So, of course, you put the name of the dead person here. So, if I've been killed, this would be Antony Cummins. And there are different traditions about where you put the killer's name, but we'll go into that in a different video. So, if this is upper class person, you do it in block style. If it's a middle class person, you do it in cursive style. If it's a lower class person, you do it in what's called katakana. So, they're basically phonetic basic markers for low people. Now here we get a samurai, a general who's killed by a normal samurai. So if I go on the battlefield and I kill an enemy general and I bring his head back, on his tag it would say his name, so Bob the general, and it would also say my name there, but in the low bits there, because I'm a normal samurai killing a general. However, in the very rare and quite rare idea of a general killing a general, you put the one side the general's name here, and on the other side the person who killed him, his name here. So there you go. This is called Hakushi no Koto. They're like the death tags basically. So I hope you enjoyed that. We're filling this book quite well now with different stuff. So for those people in Natori Ryu, you get yourselves one of these and you start going through it, and this is part of your training, because we don't often have decapitated heads nowadays. So we just build the training up like that. Right, guys, see you in the next one. Right, guys, today we're going to talk about Shuke, Buddhist monks. We're going to be working from the Book of Samurai, Samurai Armor, and the Tactics of Warfare. We're working in the Natori Ryu blank workbook, and today we've gone on to Shuke monks. So there you can see, I have to, excuse me, I messed the kanji up a bit, but Shuke monks. Now, these are a specific type of monk, excuse me, still got that cough from months ago. And there's 3 things you should use these monks for in war. And the first one is Buddhist services for the dead, to give peace to the grieving. Now, when you have lots of thousands of people die, remember, they're not separate people. They're not just numbers. They're in factions within the army. So that means that basically fathers, uncles are grieving sons and nephews, or, you know, the opposite way around. So there's a lot of grieving going on. Remember, samurai are not like emotionless tools. So the Buddhist monks do lots of rituals for them, bring peace to the dead, you know, console the living and things like that. So that's one thing. The second thing they do, they are sent to engage in negotiations. So they get like peace treaties and things like that. But what may happen is they may be tortured. So they've got to be really good monks to be able to sort of, you know, not give away too much if they are captured and tortured. Because usually they're just sent to chat and see on. But the enemy sometimes grab them, torture them, and find out everything they can. And the third one is to give back and accept decapitated heads. So when you've decapitated a general's head and you need to send it back in a box, and we'll go through the boxes, and you send that back with a monk. So they will give the box back and say, you know, thank you much. But they'll do it in an intended enclosure, if you like, or the curtained enclosure, and then when they receive them from the enemy, they'll do it in an enclosure. There's a full ritual to go beyond that, but you will always see the Shuke monks there. Now, these are different to Yamabushi, which we'll do soon.